Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand, the true story of Louis Zamperini. The son of two Italian immigrants, young Louis had to deal with a lot of prejudice and bullying growing up. As he grew older and stronger, Louis began to take on the bullies of his hometown of Torrance, California, and became quite troublesome.
As a kid, I was always in trouble. I was rotten.
Who's down there?
They started talking about what to do with me. And the police chief said, "We've been chasing them all over town for years. I should just run him."
After a chain of run-ins with the law and rebellious behavior, Louis' angelic older brother Pete decided to turn Louis' focus to track and field and train him in the sport. Though Louis was terrible at first, Pete pushed on and suddenly Louis became very good. At the age of 16, Louis began competing against college students and winning. As Louis' success in track grew, he became a celebrity in Torrance, and the once bullied little Italian boy became the town's most celebrated figure. Louis was one of the younger runners competing for a spot on the 1936 U.S. Olympic team. Louis won by a hair in his race against a three-time NCAA champion, but was then an Olympian. Though Louis did not win a medal in Berlin, he was such an impressive runner that even Adolf Hitler wanted to shake his hand.
You train, you fight harder than those other guys, and you win. If you could take it, you can make it.
As a complete unknown, Zamperini burst onto the world stage at the Olympics in 1936. The unwavering spirit that got him there led him to a record-breaking performance and carried him forward to a time when the world was at war and his country needed him most.
When he returned from Berlin, Louis was determined to be the first person to ever break the 4-minute mile and had dreams of a gold in the 1940 Olympic Games. Unfortunately, war got in the way of those dreams, and putting track and field on hold, Louis joined the Air Force as a bombarder. One night, while Louis and other servicemen were in a theater, a worker shut off the movie and notified them of the terrible news. Japan had attacked Pearl Harbor. In August of 1942, Louis said one last goodbye to his family in Torrance and headed off to Washington for more air training. Here, Louis met Russell Allen Phillips, Louis' pilot and now inseparable friend. After a few close brush-ups with death, one in which their plane was destroyed, Louis, Russell, and their team awaited the arrival of a new plane. One day, the crew's downtime was abruptly ended when a fellow plane crew had not landed, and Louis was sent on a search and rescue mission. The only available plane for this mission was an old plane used for donating parts to newer planes, nicknamed the Green Hornet. Needless to say, while in the air, engine number 1 died, and soon only the right side of the plane had power. Louis and his crew braced for impact, and after hitting the water, they all weakly swam to the life raft deployed up on the surface.
You learn perseverance in running. Right in the middle of almost giving up, you try again and again until you overcome. And that's important in the war, too. The determination to come out first, to come out alive.
His bomber, down in the Pacific.
Author Laura Hillenbrand uses descriptive and detailed examples in her book to give you the facts of what Louis' life was like. Her tone is straightforward and serious throughout the novel because Hillenbrand is not trying to entertain the reader, but rather tell the story of Louis Zamperini with real information and dedication to the truth. I like this book so much not only because of the interesting and inspiring story of Louis Zamperini, but also because the author doesn't try to put you in Louis' shoes or make you feel how he felt. She writes a book from the point of view of a researcher and maintains a clear third-person voice that makes a historical account easy to read. Sometimes in the novel, Hillenbrand addresses information that foreshadows a future event. One example of this is when Hillenbrand talks about one of Louis' friends at USC, a Japanese immigrant, Kunichi James Sasaki, nicknamed Jimmy, and she says, Louis and Jimmy had something else in common. Sometime over the course of the friendship, Louis learned that his friend was making daily trips to Torrance. He asked Jimmy if he lived there, and Jimmy said no. He explained that he was concerned about the poverty of his Japanese homeland and was going to Torrance to give lectures to locals of Japanese ancestry, encouraging them to send money and foil from cigarette packs and gum wrappers to Japanese to help the poor. Louis admired his friend for his efforts, but found it odd that he would travel to Torrance every day, given how few Japanese lived there. And then, so that kind of puts up a red flag. And then later, Hillenbrand tells us that Jimmy was actually an employee of the Japanese Navy and went to Torrance every day to raise money for the Japanese war effort.
The will to push through any obstacle. The drive never to give in to defeat. These are the virtues that define the Olympic spirit, epitomized in the incredible story of former Olympian and American hero Louis Zamperini.